Good morning from Ubud, everyone. It's Hanifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, as I mentioned, I thought I'd speak a little bit more about contemplation. And I thought I'd start with this beautiful quotation I came across by Edgar Allan Poe. And Edgar Allan Poe, some of you may have read of his information, his work, the writings that he's done. He's a great author, but a very different sort of thinker. So I thought this was a fantastic quotation because I think of myself as a very different sort of thinker, and maybe you are too. So this quotation says, "That pleasure which is at once the most pure, the most elevating, and the most intense is derived, I maintain, from the contemplation of the beautiful." The contemplation of the beautiful. So this is something that is a pleasure of contemplation that when we are immersed in it, we understand or can understand this experience. And it is beyond words. It is this space of pure understanding, pure acceptance, pure knowing, and wisdom. And all of this comes together when we actually spend the time to do this regularly. And it really does shape how we live our lives. And one of the next quotations that I came across that I thought was so fitting is by Charles Dowding, and it says, "Feed the soil, not your plants. Feed the soil, not your plants." And this is interesting because, of course, we want to feed our plants. And, you know, again, I will talk even more about personal self reflection, contemplation, a little bit deeper in the next video, too. But for this one, I thought I would direct your mind to understanding that unless we purify ourselves, our own thinking patterns, our own emotional patterns, our own behavior patterns, we're just feeding this plant. And what will happen is that we feed ourselves. So if we are the plant, we feed ourselves. I mean, I don't mean just by nutrition, but that also plays a role. Also feeding our minds with what we pay attention to, what we think about, what we speak about, how we behave in the world, what we think of others. And unless we purify this space, we can't really see from a pure perspective. And that pure perspective is always with us, but it's been clouded over by a lot of years of experience or sometimes social training. And without self-reflection. And so this is why contemplation, again, is something that's such a beautiful space and really benefits. And you know, the last video that I had made actually talked about a few steps about how to do contemplation. And this video, I thought that you might be more inspired to do it too if you understand what the goal is, because we actually do, the mind likes to have a goal for doing anything. And the goal for contemplation is pure love. It's pure loving space, which a lot of people will say, well, I'm a very loving person. And you'll only know if you are, if you're really contemplating the thoughts that go through your mind, the words that are spoken from your mouth, even in your mind, the words that are spoken to yourself or to another all matter. And then the emotions that flow from you. And love is not exactly an emotion, but it is something no one would deny, no one would not recognize when they are receiving it or giving it. And it's never for a purpose. When there's an intention to, I'll be loving because of this, that becomes transactional, and that's not love. So today I wanted to end with this quotation to hopefully inspire you to work with contemplation and self-reflection and really do these steps that I mentioned in the last video and understand why you're doing them. So here's a beautiful quotation by, I'll say in some circles might be called a mystic, sometimes a sage, sometimes just a beautiful speaker. How's that? And writer. This Meister Eckhart says, "What a man takes in by contemplation, he pours out in love." Ah, I love that. And it's so true. It's what a man takes in, man or woman, takes in by contemplation, he pours out in love. And you know that I do practice this quite a bit. And I mean contemplation. And I do feel a love pouring out of me. And it's so interesting. I'll share an experience that's just happened today. And since I've come back to Ubud, I heard about a friend of the homestay owner who had just had a stroke recently. And of course, a life is turned upside down, and not only his life, but of course his family's life. And he was a business owner in this neighborhood too. And so much happening, and we know that many people go through strokes, and I know one of my uncles is also going through a stroke, but here I am with a person right around me that is somewhat connected to me just because of the homestay that I'm in. And you know that I wasn't feeling so well when I first arrived, but I'm well now, and I couldn't wait to be able to actually help this person somehow through some of the skills that I have. And luckily, I learned a lot through naturopathic medicine, and a lot of this work is energetic work. And this work, I was able to actually finally today, after days of wishing for it and after days of healing myself, I'm strong enough to actually have had the opportunity to help this man today. And it's love. There's no payment. There's nothing that I'm asking for in terms of a financial gain or benefit. But I will say that it is from my heart space, and it felt so good to actually be able to provide something that I know will be beneficial for this man. And this I hope to continue doing too. And this whole idea of, there was a fire in the neighborhood, and there's not so much I can do except to help the vendors by still shopping at their stores that are now on the streets. And of course I did that, and of course I pray for them, and I pray for this man, and I pray for this homestay, and I pray for all of us, and I meditate on having an energy flow through me that helps me as Hanifa do the best work I possibly can. Today, I hope you will contemplate and understand what's the best work that can flow from you, and it will make you feel fantastic as well as pour love outside of you. And this is what I wish for all of us. I wish you a fabulous day of contemplation and love, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.